Hi everyone, welcome again to Stranger Story Podcast, where we talk about marketing and meaningful marketing. Today, our topic is on can I just marketing-flix and chill? Does marketing automation benefit me? And as usual, you have me, myself, and Nahim.
Hello, everyone. Yes, exactly. We are talking about today automation, marketing automation tools, um, and Haikel actually came up with the topic again, as usual. Um, so yeah, without any delay, let's jump into it.
All right, let's take it one step at a time. I think marketing automation is something that we always hear of these days. I think it's the buzzword for a lot of marketing departments and marketing teams, right? I think big or small, everyone wants to do some kind of
Right.
marketing automation, isn't it? Because we just want to make our lives
Right.
easier. Let's face it. As human beings, we're a little bit lazy when it comes to doing the routine manual things over and over
Yeah.
again, isn't it? And marketing automation solves our
Right.
problems. Solves a lot of our problems. We have to put this disclaimer out there from the beginning. We're not anti-automation here. We're not talking about how that there's some Terminator Judgment Day kind of scenario coming
how
up where
how
we're all going to be
automation will
replaced by
take up our
AI.
jobs, and we will end up
Yes,
losing everything to
exactly. We're
automation.
not anti. Exactly, we're not anti-technology. We're not anti-automation. We just want to explore and start to look at what is this automation thing all about, and when does it make sense and when does it not, and what do you lose? I mean, with every tool, with every solution, there are some drawbacks, right? There are some things that we lose, some things that we gain. So the idea for this episode is to try and illuminate some of the things that you lose and some of the things that you gain. And basically, at the end of the day, it is a conscious decision that you have to make as a marketing. Either it's from a campaign level, a department level, a team level. It doesn't matter, but it's a conscious decision that you have to make because it is your contact point or the way in which you talk to your customers.
Right.
Yeah. At the end of the day.
Right.
So let's start from the very beginning, right? What's the state of marketing automation these days, Nahim? What's your take?
Well, I think it's in a good state in terms of the people who are actually selling SaaS products. It's a wonderful state, but I think there is a lot of confusion also in the market because as a business owner or someone who just enter into the market with a product or services, you always think about automation, what tool I can use. And to begin with, what is this automation tools? Like what's the purpose for it? When we say automation, it actually basically means process automation or workflow automation. You know, the things we do everyday basis, can it be automated or can it make it more easier for us? The things we do repeatedly, right? Can it be automated? The boring job, let's say, right? And every time someone actually comes up into the market, they always think about, okay, what CRM we want to use, right? What content management system we want to use? What is the lead management system we want to use? You know, in marketing, most of the time, these are the stuff that we actually came up with, and at the moment now, because of the generative AI, we actually get to see a lot of tools, such as for instance, like for graphic design, Adobe, Canva, ChatGPT. They are actually with this generative AI, you get help with copywriting, you get help with creating design images, those kind of stuff. So basically, when we talk about marketing automation tool, we actually content management system, CRM, email marketing tool, and lead management system. That is what we are talking about generally, right? And then you can also talk about Zapier, something like Zapier, where you can actually automate some amount of task, repeated task, right? But what is it if you actually go back to our meaningful marketing question, right? How does this actually bring meaning to your business, to your team? That is important here. And I think I told you earlier, a lot of times the confusion actually happens is actually we don't know what we need and when we need it. particularly for new businesses, right? Because every time there is we need CRM, right? We need to have this database and everything, and we actually don't know even manually how to do it. Let's talk about that first, right? Like, how can you do the stuff that you want to automate manually? Then you will understand the tool. And for new businesses, I'm not talking about business who has, I don't know, 10,000 customers, right? New business. The first question is, do you really need it? Can it bring any sort of meaning and value to your business? Right? Because we talk about, particularly in our podcast, it's really about meaning and purposeful marketing. And when we actually get into the nitty-gritty, the details, if I have 10 customers that I'm always in contact with, I don't need a freaking CRM system. I don't need need a Eloqua or Marketo or Salesforce, right? I can just do it in Excel. Isn't it? And I think sometimes we just want to sound sophisticated, and because because this is what happens in the business. When you actually go to the investor and you want to actually show them like what kind of process you have and how are you running your business, these tools, it actually brings sophistication. So it's a lot of things actually psychological, and you use it even though you don't need it. Right. Do you have similar sort of experience? Because Haikel is in the market for quite a while now. so please bring it on.
Yes, back in my day, we did not have a... No, I'm sorry. When I started in the marketing world, it was very different, the landscape. Excel was our go-to tool. I think you're right, because I've been to... I've had the chance of being in different organizations, different size organizations. Startups, very small, like very early stage startups, to a bit more mature startups, to big organizations, big multinational corporations. And there are routine tasks that need to be somehow automated. That's for sure. But like you said, if you are a organization that is dealing with either very small number of customers, so your end value is very low there, or you need to engage with your customers. It's very clear that at the very early stage, even when you are interacting with these customers, they need to realize that you are different, that you don't sound like a bot, that you don't sound like a generic email sort of thing. And this carries influence, and goes into our idea of purposeful marketing or meaningful marketing, right? Our little mantra here, because that's when the meaning is transferred, when it becomes that customized, that the customer feels that you are talking to him and not or her, basically, and not talking to, not a copy paste message, or not some kind of generic kind of message. And I think that matters when you want people to respond, because it's a little bit about the old adage, you treat people how you want to be treated. So if you don't want to be treated like that, then clearly your customers might not also feel that they want to be treated like that. And if you're not able to do it on a content level, right? You're not able to reach out on a content level for any of your messages. You're gonna have to try and use some kind of sales trickery or some kind of promotional trickery to get them to respond, right? Some kind like, then you throw in a 30% off a discount for subscription, or have a free trial, or this kind of things, which you could maybe avoid if the customer actually sees the value and develops a relationship with you from the beginning, and therefore realizes the value of your service without even needing to negotiate at the beginning, at least, right? Imagine the weak point you're starting at. You're already giving away 30% off subscription at the beginning before you even have any relationship. But I gotta say though, I mean, I'm on LinkedIn a lot, right? And I'm very surprised these days. I don't know about you, Nahim, but I see job advertisements where they're looking for people, marketing specialists or marketing associates or something, who can work on specific tools. I've seen a MailChimp marketing specialist for MailChimp. And I'm wondering, like, so what happens when they replace the MailChimp, or the MailChimp no longer becomes relevant? Is this guy out of a job, or is he, that's the kind of, I think that's an approach of an organization where you're not really looking at what the MailChimp is for. You're looking at the tool itself, and do you need to you need to run the it's an automation tool that needs to have somebody running it. Can you imagine the logic of that? I mean, absolutely. Imagine the commercial case for that.
Another thing is, it's sometimes it's not just about that, because when you I have also came across this kind of like job post. It's like Salesforce administrator or HubSpot administrator. So that's basically their CRM, or like the whole marketing 360, right? So because you have to also look at the scale of the tool. So how many people are using it, and that's why people are actually choosing this sort of career path. And Salesforce and HubSpot, they are actually giving certifications, right? And you wouldn't believe like how much the salary for these kind of positions.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
So
absolutely.
that's one thing. But like, even though earlier I talked about when you are deciding for a tool, do you really need it? For instance, you are very small. But even more important than that is, do you understand that tool? Because the SaaS companies, the salesmen, they are very good at demonstrating the value. No, that's right. And when you actually bump into this sort of people, what they will actually say, okay, this is the process, and this is how you organize in our tools, and this is the benefits, and you can categorize your leads, you can categorize your campaign, and this is a report. It's all automated. You don't have to work on any of that. And as a businessman, you actually think, oh, I actually need this stuff, but probably not right now. But you actually see the value, and you get a bit biased towards that, because that is valuable. You are seeing the demonstration, and you are having these free trials and everything. But when you really have to, take a step back and actually think, this tool is useful, but is it the right time? And same, if you actually think about other tools, let's forget CRM. Now there is a content management tool or content creating tool, right? So there is Adobe and there is Canva. Right, and as a small business, when I think about Adobe, it's a subscription business, and Adobe it's like for Photoshop you have to pay one, then After Effects, then Premiere Pro for videos, Illustrator, those kind of stuff. So it's like a lot of software that you have to pay for different sort of reasons. But with Canva, it's way more cheaper. And you can do all those stuff, and the subscription cost is actually way lower, and it's more user friendly. And as someone who's like, I don't know, 3% team, 5% team, 10% team, and there is like one guy is working in the marketing, or two person working in the marketing, you don't need to put that amount of investment into tools. Get a Canva. That makes sense for you. Yeah. But now you are Nike, or now you are Apple, and you are putting out there these multi-million-dollar campaigns, right? You have your whole creative team, and sometimes you actually get another agency. That's a different case. But in your company, there is people working in marketing, is like 20 people, 30 people, 100 people. Then this sort of tool makes sense, because you know the dynamics, and you have to understand the whole content creating system, right? So purpose makes the meaning for it. So it's a perspective. What sort of goal it actually serves to your business.
Yes, exactly. I think it's a very good point, right? You have to know your audience, basically, and like you said. If you are Adidas or Nike or one of these big brands, when you send out a CRM email to announce the launch of your latest product lineup, right? The person receiving, or the audience or your customer, is kind of accepting that it's not going to be personalized, isn't it? Because it is it's Adidas or it's Nike or whatever, you expect that you're part of a mailing list of thousands of
Exactly.
people, basically, right? But I think maybe it might be different if you are buying a Rolex watch, or you're in the mailing list for a Tag Heuer watch, for example, right? There might be a level of personalization there, and I'm referring to B2C, of course. And at this point, this is where we kind of see the shifts in terms of treatment of customers in the different segments, right? In the more premium segments, there might be a little bit more of expectation that you know who I am, right? You address it to me. You kind of, you're selling the same product, but there is this element of making you feel unique, making you feel special, and that's the benefit of these kind of communication techniques, no? Which sometimes, as automation goes, it's kind of very difficult to do that if you're trying to hit all at once, right? If you're trying to have a catch-all solution, is of course going to be very difficult. But again, it goes back to the customer, right? It goes back to the consumer. What would they naturally expect from such a communication? And if you meet that expectation, it's fine, right? But if somehow you don't meet the expectation, for example, you're not personalized or engaging enough, it's not meaningful enough, this relationship, it becomes a problem. Like I said, if you have a very small target group, very specific target group who are maybe B2B sort of decision makers who are very close to the subject matter, this might be a problem. Or conversely, if your customer is expecting a more generic, more kind of newsletter sort of message, but somehow you make it personalized to them. Somehow you figured out that there's something about them that makes it interesting. For example, I don't know, right? Maybe you have to allay this with other data sources and so on, and understand their buying behavior, etc., etc. But if you were to do that, you'll be exceeding expectation. It's just maybe a small change in the actual CRM email, for example, or the CMS tool, but suddenly I, as a customer, feel that, actually they know who I am. And it's not just a name change, by the way. I'm not referring to a dear Nahim or a dear Haikel, which is nice, but I mean something a bit more meaningful than that, right? So I think, like you said, will your audience appreciate this, right? And how much will your audience appreciate this, right? And with automation tools, I think there's also the other element that we have to talk about, right? Because it's so easy for you to now send CRM emails, or easy for you to change to send lead generation emails, for example, right? You don't require a lot of actual manual work to do it. There is the concept of overdoing it, isn't it? There is the concept of sending too many newsletters, too many updates or whatever, and what you don't want is that, as a result of your adoption of marketing automation, you basically decimate all forms of meaning because it becomes lost in the inbox. Because it's so easy. It's like, let's just do another round of
there we
emails.
actually don't understand the purpose of these tools. The purpose of these tools are not volume. It's actually quality. So whatever you were sending, for instance, email before this automation tool and stuff, you had to do a lot of manual job in terms of putting every address on your Outlook or Gmail and stuff. Now you don't have to do that. You have more time to delve into the creative part, understanding the customer. Spending more time into copywriting, and just make your product look unique. Telling a better story. That's where your time should go. If automation actually gets this other friction of work, right? It's not the purpose of now ChatGPT can write an email and MailChimp can send it. Let's just send 10 email a week. And people will convert. That's just wrong. You don't have any strategy then.
Exactly. And that goes to a point about these automation tools have to be in line with the customer journey that you want to take them through, right? And the idea is, of course, which part of the customer journey can these tools make it easier for you, right? Reduce the time required in order to drive your customer through these different steps in order to convert, right? In order to make another purchase or whatever it is, right? Or to bring them down the sales funnel, right? That is also a journey in itself, isn't it? So then it's a question of which part of the journey does your tools correspond to, right? And I think that's a good way of having a check and balance here, of understanding. All right, as you said, Nahim, what kind of what's the purpose of this tool? Why do we need it? What is the objective that we're trying to achieve, and what tools, what kind of work is necessary in order to achieve that objective, and can we sort of speed it up, or can we sort of cut a few corners so that it's a little bit more streamlined, so that we can do more volume, or we don't need so many people to do the same job, basically, right? And that, I think, if you sort of align that with the customer journey that you imagine your customer is going to go through, I think that means that your message, whatever it may be, whether it's an email or a follow-up or whatever, it aligns with where the customer is at. And therefore, immediately becomes contextualized and becomes something that they can accept and go, oh, right, it makes sense that I'm receiving this 100%. Email now because I've last spoke to this company 1 week ago, and they are doing a follow-up, basically. And in that follow-up, of course, in this case, it should be a little bit more personal. Of course, you are already referring to your meeting or something like that. I mean, again, goes back to your journey, goes back to why are you doing this? Why are you sending this email? Is it just to say, I exist, hello, don't forget about me? Or is it something more?
Yeah, exactly. That is one perspective of it, which I totally agree. And another perspective of these tools that has nothing to do with customers. And that is your employees. And as a leader, you have to understand, does this tool make the job easier for my employees? Will my employee be happy? Because as a business person, you also have to take care of your own organizations and make sure that you actually care for the people that work for you, and you actually willing to invest for their well-being, right? It's not just fruit basket and free chocolate bars and membership in the gym. It's actually that.
Yes, absolutely.
It's actually, do you care? Like, how much do you care so that you are willing to make the job easier for these people, and they can spend time on something which is more meaningful for them, right? They are not just putting numbers and data on Excel sheet, but they are actually involved in decision making and strategy, and they can actually use their brain. I'm not saying the people who are doing Excel sheet don't use their brain. Don't get me wrong here. I'm just saying people who are passionate, who the reason they actually came to your company, that it's something attracted them, and are they actually contributing towards that? The significance of their work actually increases, right? So that's another part of these tools, and of course the customer journey. That's obviously important, because if it doesn't generate ADP, like we always talk about return on investment for these tools and stuff. It not just money, by the way. Return on investment is not just money, because there are a lot of activities, the pain points in customer journey that you cannot measure. It's quite impossible to measure. But exactly. As a marketer, you have to have that sort of like general view, like, oh, if this is working, it's an instinct. It's I don't know how to actually, that you are actually kind of aware that we are actually going in the right direction. That comes with experience. That comes with your insight into the market and your customer, that you are aware where your customer are at the moment, and you were actually predicted that they will be here. Right.
Exactly. I think you've got a good point there. I think from the first point about if you're a business leader, right, you would want the people actually who are doing the execution stuff, right, doing the actual the job, right, however tedious it is, if they are doing this Excel copy pasting, for example, or putting in numbers into an Excel sheet, you would want to make it easier for them first of all, or give them the tools to succeed, right? Give them the tools to excel, basically, right? And if you are investing in marketing automation tools, these people, in theory, can then think about improving the whole process in the first place, right? Because they're not bogged down by the menial work that requires a lot of time, that kind of stops them from thinking about improvements, transformations. And this is where I think very important opinions are lost, because these are the people where it is their pain point every single day. And if you can solve that first level pain point of, this manual entry, for example, they can then focus on other pain points. For example, the process is not too many steps in the process, maybe, or half the steps are not even utilized at all. This standard operating procedure is no longer relevant. Maybe they will be the first ones to tell you that. It won't be from the executive level, because that's not what you deal with on a daily basis, right? And about and you're right. At the end of the day, in any corporation, whether or not you are a business leader or otherwise, or you are a marketeer in a team right now listening to this and basically trying to make a case for automation, it does go back to dollars and cents. It does go back to this cost benefit analysis, right? Is the tool actually worthwhile? Is the tool actually going to make life easier for us? And that is what you said, Nahim. It's very true. It's kind of hard to put a number on it. Like, how much are we going to save in terms of what? Money? In terms of what? Headcount? In terms of what? Time? It's not so simple, right? But it's about the output. I think if you look at it from the output perspective, right, how many campaigns are we able to run, for example, and how successful are those campaigns based on the limitations or the strengths of this automation tool? I think that could be a first indication, but there is no hard science to this. There is a bit of an art to this, right? I mean, like you said, experience counts, your customer counts, your objectives count, and this is when all these things come together, and that's why marketers. The process can be automated, but marketers should not be automated. If you get what I'm saying.
You nailed it, bro. Seriously. I want to give you a real life example about this automation thing. See, like, the first thing should be that you understand your business process, how your business is running. That's one thing. For instance, the way you find people for your product and service is you do prospecting in terms of sales. Like, these are the people that can, buy from us. So what do you do? At the moment, you go up to Google and you look for some company who's looking for certain kind of product. Because in B2B industry, you actually kind of know, like, which are my tier, like which companies can be my potential customer. And you go to their website, you find the contact person, right? And then you get their email, their name, and you actually do this prospecting in sales process. Now you're doing this manually, and that's everyone does. Right now, if you want to look for relevant people, you don't just get a magazine and find a phone number and call. That's not how it works now. Right? Now, entered LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Right. So, what this tool can do is, because LinkedIn has such a huge database, it knows where people are working, what is their title, where they're situated, what's the name of their company, are they like open for work, are they doing, asking for any service, who are the connection of this person, right? And all of this you can do in LinkedIn Sales Navigator with 4 press, maybe 3 press, and then you have the data. So, in a way, it is automated. You are not putting hundreds of hours in the month on Google and finding these relevant contact. It just delivers to you. So that's the benefit, that you are saving time. But when you have these contacts, you can have your LinkedIn Sales Navigator connected to your CRM, and you can send this automated email. Or you can actually find out, okay, this guy seems relevant. Let me put him on CRM and let me see what this guy is about. What is he posting about? What did he like? What's his activity over LinkedIn? And based on that, you commented or you liked and you reached out to, hey, you talked about this. Like, can I have some more information about this stuff? You are building relation. Can CRM do that? Can a LinkedIn helper, which is like LinkedIn automation, who goes randomly and likes and comments on your behalf, can it do that?
Yeah.
The answer is no. It just the non-human part where we don't need how do you say okay, the one-liner is automation cannot build relation. You have to do it.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have a relation, you don't have a business.
Yes. Exactly.
So that's a real life example. Then you can take this in other facet of your business, whether it's creative, whether it's ERP system, in production, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's how you select any sort of tool, any sort of automation.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Building relationship is something that, unfortunately, you in order to build a relationship, you have to find the commonalities with your subject, whoever your subject is, your customer is, right? And like you said, perhaps LinkedIn automation tool can allow you to find this subject that somewhat meets your criteria, but that's only half the job, right? The other half is the hard part, which is to build this relationship, which is to build this connection. And how we can actually do that is this is where the human element comes in, right? And this is where the understanding part comes in. This is where the responding part comes in. And that's something automation cannot do. It cannot respond, right? Because response is something very specific, very, very particular, based on this person's opinions or this person's posts or what matters to this person and so on. I suppose now with generative AI, with ChatGPT, perhaps you can type out a blurb,
okay.
right? Based.
Okay, I have something to say.
What do you think? Go ahead.
So, and this is to the marketers, by the way, not for any marketer creatives. See, if you are a mediocre marketer, if you are a mediocre person who just put things together and thinks it's creative, the mediocre work can easily replaced by this generative AI, and that's the truth. If you, whatever you are doing, if you don't have the expertise and if you are not constantly developing yourself, then you are out from the market, and that's true. That is true. Like the automation emails or anything. If the way you do the copywriting, you don't understand your audience, you just do a general copywriting. Oh, here is the email, and I'm doing it hourly, and someone is paying me. I don't need you then, because ChatGPT can do it way better than you, right? But ChatGPT doesn't have the expertise you have. It doesn't have the experience and the knowledge, the human interaction you had with in the market with the people. It doesn't have that, right? The ChatGPT is as good as the prompt you give it to.
Yes, correct.
So now you have this new skill. Oh, we have to know how to write prompt. yeah. I mean, that's a good skill, but at the end of the day,
yes,
it can only take you so far.
Yes, I think this is a very, very, very important point. I think ChatGPT is the current flavor of the month, shall we say? Yeah, in terms of automation, and generative AI is the flavor of the month or flavor of the year, whatever you want to say. But like you said, at the end of the day, the tool for this particular tool in particular, right, is responding to what prompts you can give it. And these prompts come from a living, breathing person at the back end who is able to analyze, who is able to understand and contextualize and respond accordingly. And the tool makes it easier for you to respond. So again, it's about the marketeers cannot become automated.
Yep.
The marketing can become automated, but the marketeers cannot become automated because there is this idea of experience, knowledge, and knowledge. I think is a very, very important point. I think that marketeers have to keep learning about people, about the industry that they're in, about the technologies that they're trying to adopt. Because if you don't, then like you said, you're out of the market. You're irrelevant, right? And that's why as we said in the beginning, we're not anti automation, but this is how you make automation work for you, right? And that allows you to hit the next level, right? You don't have to be, perhaps your copywriting skills are not the best. Perhaps your creative design skills are not the best. And this is when these tools help to paper over those cracks. But at the end of the day, there is a baseline. There is a core marketeer in there somewhere. Deep down somewhere, there is a core marketeer who is interested in what they're doing, who is interested in marketing, who is interested in the people that they're trying to market to, who is trying to provide a solution to whoever it is that they're dealing with, whether B2B or B2C or whatever, right? Or if you're an NGO even, for example, right? You have this core interest, and this is how these things help you.
Even in layman term, when you think about, this AI is like can do everything, and we don't need people in this situation or that situation. ChatGPT can tell you how to perform a surgery, but you still need a doctor to perform the surgery.
Yeah, that's for now.
Yes. For now, at least for now. ChatGPT.
Yeah, but that is absolutely true.
ChatGPT can tell you.
That is absolutely true.
ChatGPT can give you the ideas about campaigns, how to perform a campaign, or like some creative ideas about campaign. But you still have to go there and like execute it.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
ChatGPT can give you who can be the relevant people for your campaign.
Yes.
And these are the things that will help your marketing system. Right. And for creators, I think marketers also in a way we are creators too, right? Content wise, any campaign wise, anything. For creators, I think it's even better that you actually get a heads up.
Yeah.
Right. And then you kind of like put your spices into the mix. Right? Because at the end of the day, the automation can get you so far, but you are interacting with people that you know.
Yeah.
The catch is here, as a marketer. if you don't know, then that's other case.
That's a huge catch. That's a huge con. That's right. You need to know, right? And that's the other part about automation or in this case ChatGPT that we can bring into the play is that you might know your audience, right? You might know who they are, you might know where to find them, or you might understand their profile, right? But perhaps you understand 7 out of 10 things, and ChatGPT maybe can give you ideas for that missing 3 things, and that could maybe change the way in which you actually execute the campaign, right? Maybe that's gonna inspire your creative in a different way. So I think that's how it adds on, but you need to have that core baseline knowledge, right? Like you said, right? You need to understand their behavior. You need to care, basically. You need to care about who you're trying to reach out
and,
to.
Even as a creative, as someone who has to think for the work. Sometimes we read books. Sometimes we read articles. Sometimes we listen to someone who has the expertise in the subject matter. And the good thing is now you don't have to spend hours. You can just ask ChatGPT to summarize it for you.
Yeah.
These are the pros of like leverage these tools to make your job easier. Yeah. And that's why you need affinity and familiarity with these tools. Otherwise, the person who knows ChatGPT, the marketer who knows ChatGPT, and a good marketer, and the good marketer who doesn't know ChatGPT, the first one is always better. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I think that makes a lot of sense. So we can, so in other words, we can say that to bring it back to our little mantra here about meaningful marketing and purposeful marketing. So would you say that it actually marketing automation can help you create meaning? Right? Would you agree with me there?
Can help you, yes, definitely. It can
But
help you. And see, like in stranger stories. So this is another thing. Uh, See, like there is we as a team, as someone who are into marketing, the kind of service we actually give out to companies and peoples is actually let them know if they want these tools or not. You know, we can come up and actually train you about a tool, and you figure out,
Yeah.
okay, you need it or not, right? This is something we offer.
Yeah.
By the way, so we're actually coming
Yeah.
out from a place where we actually know that a lot of business that
Yeah.
are using tools, they don't need it,
Yeah.
and you are having this subscription and you
Exactly.
are actually paying. uh, I don't know, it can be a lot for your business or it can be a little, but that amount of money you can actually invest for your people, for
Yes.
to increase your creativity or to increase your to affinity in the market by finding out like who are you targeting. Probably you are actually spending money on the wrong tool and you need something else,
Yes.
and this is something Haikel and I can help you out with. So yes, the at the end it can help your business to find meaning. But often it's overrated.
Yes. Yes.
Often it's
I
overrated.
think you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I think that where we are coming from, or where we like to advocate or help anyone that we can help with, is that the automation is there, it exists, but it shouldn't be at the start of the process. It's the end of the process, right? Once you figured out who you're trying to talk to, what your organization is all about, what are the skill sets in your organization. So knowing yourself, knowing your customer, knowing your product, then we figure out what's the automation tools that can actually assist in any of these relationships that we're trying to
Yeah.
build, right? Whether the relationship between your employees and the work, whether it's the relationship between your product and the customer, or whether it's a relationship between your company and the customer. It's all very complex, we understand. But you need to start, and you need to have a starting point at some
Yes.
level. And then from there, we progress. And from there, we try and find the right tools or the right solutions for this problem. And maybe, like Nahim says, you don't even need a solution. It's not even necessary at this
Yeah.
point, So it really depends, right? There's a lot of context that has to be in here. And that's one of the challenges that automation is presenting. It's making everyone's problem the same because the solution is the same, isn't it? So the problem must be the same, but it's not, because everyone comes from a different perspective, very unique perspective from the market, or unique perspective in trying to bring that value proposition to the customer. Because if all the companies are the same, then there will be many companies out of business, right? Then it's a case of who shouts the loudest,
Exactly.
basically, which is not necessarily
And
true.
the thing is, you all as a businessman, as a marketer, as a leader, you always have to understand the priority. See, like just getting a tool is it will help your business. It's not like that. The first thing first. If whenever you actually get a tool, and a lot of new people will start using it, and then you need administrator if something goes wrong, right? And there is a lot of back and
Yes.
forth, lot of training involves, and it's time that you are actually spending. So at the end of the day, you really have to understand: do I really want to go through all of this? Is it the priority right now for me?
Yes.
Am I actually
Yes.
in that position in business, in my business journey, where I can afford
Yes.
that amount of just not money, time, and my employees will be willing to do it, right? Otherwise,
Yes.
I know
Yes.
like tons of businesses, they are getting this CRM, they are getting this lead management system, and it just sit there idle, and nobody wants
Yes.
to put anything there. The colleagues, they go to the event, they have all these leads that they talk to, but it never goes into the CRM because it's extra
Yeah.
work.
Yes.
So yeah, keep that in mind.
Exactly.
Of course.
Exactly. Right. Then, well, let's assume that you figure out, you know your customer, you know yourself, you know your product, and you finally figured out what kind of automation tool that you need to help in the customer journey, to help your customers find you and you find your customers, and you guys build a relationship together with automation as well as your own knowledge, etc., etc. That's what we've discussed earlier. So if this brilliant hypothetical scenario is somehow reached, the question then becomes, can you still chill? Can you just allow this automation to run, and can I just chill out now because I'm marketing-flixing it and I'm chilling? Or can I do that? What do you think?
Well, I think it's a no. Because yeah, probably in 50 years something will happen where you can just have some AI taking all these decisions, doing all these executions, thinking creative, taking care of people, taking care of the relationship. It's AI and AI communicating. There is no people involved.
Yes.
Probably there will come a time where every process, sales process, marketing process, business process, it's AI is communicating with AI, and they are doing what is necessary because it's just a linear story,
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
you can just chill.
Yeah.
But at this point in
Yes.
time, I don't see how you can have any tool and then just say, well, it will take care of the end customer.
Absolutely. I think you're absolutely right. At this point, taking an understanding or taking a indication of the technology at this stage of our existence right now, right? Of what's out there in the marketing sphere, you're absolutely right. I think that even if we get the formula right, it is a constantly changing situation. And the message, the customer, the product, they all change. Their relevance, even if you're selling the same product over time, which is unlikely at this point, but let's assume that you do, your relevance of your product will change because your customer will change. The world keeps spinning. And as such, situations constantly change. So at the end of the day, even if you get the formula right, you can't afford to take your eye off the controls. You can't afford to just let it run for 6 months and then let's just see what happens at the end of it. By then, it will be too late. By then, the context would have changed from your initial assumptions when you started the campaign in the first place, when you started the automation tools in the first place. And that's why it is, as with all processes to build meaning, as with all processes to build purpose, it has to be renewed and relooked and reanalyzed, looking at data, looking at anecdotal information as well, looking at gut feeling, for example, seeing whether all these different indicators that you find are important to you, whether they can justify your impressions about what's going on, your ideas about what's going on, because at the end of the day, they give you that complete picture.
Yeah,
Don't you think?
definitely. And see, like as a businessman, as a marketer, I actually think of ourselves as warriors. And as a warrior, you always have to think about the extremes. And in this automation case, there is two extremes. The first case is AI takes over everything. You don't have to do anything. You can just have an automation and it will figure itself out. It will take care of your business. That's one extreme. And anybody will be ready for that because you don't have to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And the another extreme is every technology dies out and you have to do everything manually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you're so dependent and you have no idea how you can do this process manually, then you are done in that extreme.
Yeah.
So have this idea, like there is nothing wrong with using these tools, like we have mentioned.
Yeah.
But as someone who who is in the marketplace, and you know how market fluctuates in terms of money, in terms of interest of people, right? And the opportunity and smart decisions can save your business, can bring you relevant customer, can change everything 360. So you have to understand that, okay, even though I can actually take this tool, let me just figure out like how it actually works, manually. Like if I want to do it manually, how does this CRM works? Can I actually do it with Excel? It's because it's just organizing, right? Column and rows. Try it out.
Exactly.
See like the sophistication that all these ad and campaigns and these SaaS industries coming up because there is generative AI and we have to adopt as soon as possible. Do we?
Precisely. It's a very good question. It's a very good question to hopefully entice the listeners of this podcast to relook at some of the processes that you're doing, and to relook at some of the work that you're doing, and hopefully make your lives a little bit better. Hopefully make automation work for you a little bit better.
Yep.
And on that note, if you found this episode useful and interesting, and the content something that is right up your alley, please like and subscribe to our channel. And do drop us an email with and reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to get into a conversation with you and build relationships as well.
Precisely.
So on that note, till next time.
Take care.
Take care.